Hello. It's been a long time since I posted a video, and I don't feel great about that. I just got out of the shower. I didn't decide to put on any makeup on or wear anything interesting at all. I just felt like it's time. It's time for me to do this again, to get back on the wagon and show up differently. I wanted to make this video and just kind of talk about what has brought me here and just where I am on a personal level. I feel like I have a lot of feelings, thoughts and feelings that have nowhere to go. I kind of am avoiding a lot of my social media, and I'm just like, let me find a new place where it feels like a blank slate. And yeah, it's a little bit escapist, but I'm kind of just deciding that I get to do things my way and I don't need to feel shame or guilt or that it's wrong. Sorry, my hair is a mess and it's bothering me. So yeah, I'm going to be using YouTube as a place for me to just express myself freely and just kind of practice making videos, practice talking about my message, and I just happen to really like talking about myself and my feelings. So this is I want to do this because I not only see it as a way for me to get to a future point that I want, like a future that I want. I know that being in the present, being in the process, and just enjoying the thing, doing the thing for what it is so important. Is just, I cannot fixate on thinking that I just gotta do this for the future, because it's gonna get me there, and if I do this, then I need to show up a certain way. I can't deal with that type of pressure. That just makes me want to stop. It doesn't want me to it doesn't motivate me or entice me. That's just not how I work or how my brain works, or I don't know if that's how a lot of people work, but yeah. So what has brought me to today, to this video? I'm pressing record right now. A lot of things and little things. Not gonna lie, I think I've been a little bit depressed. So let me just back up and tell you a bit of my life story, my situation here. So I don't want to tell this whole story, but let's do it. So I am Amanda. I was born and raised in Orange County, Southern California, and I had this is really going to be my life story. I had a really happy childhood. My childhood is essentially a source of privilege for me because I had a family that loved me. My parents showed me a lot of affection. I always felt safe. I was never bullied. I had a really strong foundation in experiencing unconditional love. And I don't take that lightly. I could see really clearly that the level of success in my personal life and dating life and relationship life can be attributed specifically to the fact that I was shown unconditional love. I know what that feels like. Then I was able to give that to myself. And so I didn't really have issues with things like self-esteem or confidence, but that is only in my personal relationship dating life. Whereas I didn't have models to show me what business is like, how to do business, how to work hard, how to have grit and resilience in business. I actually did not finish college. I was the type of kid that was gifted in elementary and high school, but that all that did for me was tell me that I was smart and a good student, and I could do the good student thing, but just to an extent. I didn't care about my own education, my own skills, my own knowledge. I just did what I needed to do to be good enough, to be a good student. So I only was used to doing the bare minimum. I was not used to trying hard and pushing myself and being self-motivated. So you can only imagine how, yeah, me not completing my degree. I only had one more course to finish. It was just the portfolio. I did not do it because I didn't have the skills. I had like the perfectionism complex, paralysis, and I was just in kind of a toxic relationship at the time, so all my energy and mental space was being focused on the relationship and not on myself and not on completing school. So I didn't complete school, but I was in the art department, so I was majoring in graphic design. So what I did with my graphic design skills was I forged a diploma. So I made a counterfeit diploma, and that's what my parents think that I graduated, because I made a fake diploma. So those are where my skills went. That's how you know I'm a graphic designer. But after that, I just kind of gave up on school, and I just ended up taking jobs just because essentially I was a kid that just like did the bare minimum. I did the thing that like everyone else was doing. You go to college just because like there's no option to not go to college. Of course you go to college. Me being like a Asian American, like education is like priority, top priority, like you must. So yeah, I did school, and then after school I got a job. I was just given a job. I was lucky enough that my cousin, she was like a director at a company. She just needed contractors. I was just given a job, and then I did it. And yeah, because I didn't want to use graphic design, I didn't feel good enough. I felt like I didn't even want to. And yeah, I don't really feel really pulled to it. So I was given a job, and then the job was very soul draining. It was just like tech support in an office, and I was able to do it, and it was easy enough. So that's like very much my comfort zone. You just teach me what to do, I'll just do it, and I could do that. But it wasn't really paying me that much, and I didn't really see myself growing in that company. I didn't really want to be there. So I was getting like kind of depressed about my situation, to the point where I felt like I needed to push myself. Like I just wanted to make more money. And so like almost like the moment I decided like I just want a new job so I can make more money, another opportunity like fell into my lap, where I was recruited to be interviewed for a manager position at a startup company, at a tech startup company. And I was like, ooh, like what a awesome opportunity. I could just like, I could learn so much being in a startup and like a manager. Ooh, I was very impressed, and like that sounded very intriguing. Like that is the thing for me. Like I just kind of wanted the money, and I saw that, and I was like, yeah, let me just get it and see what happens. And I got it, and it was, I was way over my head. I'm not even a person that like likes working, like much less like I wasn't able to like survive in a startup. I wasn't able to like manage people. I had no skills in how to manage people, how to do what was required of me, and then also do what like a bunch of other like positions, because that's what you do at a startup. You have to like wear a bunch of hats and do a lot of other things. And yeah, I was on fire. It was, the startups are always on fire. I was like incredibly stressed, and I was dying, and the money was absolutely not worth it. So everyone at the company knew that it just wasn't a good fit. Luckily, it was amicable, where they put me on the program to give me a chance. If it doesn't work out, then it was a constructive termination or something. Like, I was essentially fired, but I was still able to get unemployment. They were that nice to me. So I was so grateful for that, because that was essentially what I was waiting for. I was hoping that my other employer was just gonna lay me off, because I just wanted to figure my shit out. I never thought about what I actually wanted. I just did what my parents expected me to do. I just took the job that was just given to me, and then I took the next job that was just fell in my lap, and I was never happy with any of those things that happened. Wasn't really my full decision. It didn't come from, it wasn't an original decision that I made from my own desire, from my own choice. Original choice, not just oh, something is given to me, maybe let me just say yes to it and see where it goes. And what I've learned from all of those experiences was that if I didn't decide this is something that I originally had wanted, saying yes to this thing that happened, it's probably not what I really want. It probably won't, unless I was open to really just pivoting my whole life around that situation to make it my thing. I'm such a independent person, independent minded person, that if it didn't come from me, I didn't make that decision to want that thing, to choose to have my life that way, then it really just makes me feel this is not it. This is really not where I'm supposed to be. This is not really what I want. And so once I was unemployed, that's when I was finally able to look at my life and ask myself, what do I actually want here? What's important to me? What do I want to do with my life? And through doing some soul searching, that's when I discovered the field of life coaching. So when I discovered what life coaching is, essentially learning about how these people are just the your personal cheerleader support. They give you the perspectives that you've never ever considered. They help expand you and push you to seeing more than you see in yourself, and really push you towards what you truly want, and help you see that what you truly want is the most important thing. Not to make your decisions based off what other people are doing, what other people want, what other people's expectations are. If I just had that when I was younger, I might not have done the things that I did. I might have still done what I ended up doing, but just having the mindset, knowing that okay, I'm just gonna go through this, but ultimately what I want is important, and what I want is something that I need to decide. What I want my life to look like is something that I need to decide. And I could try out doing these things and still get this experience and find out, just find out by experiencing it. But in the end, I have to be responsible for my own happiness, and what my life looks like is my responsibility. And I didn't know about that, and I never thought about it that way until I discovered life coaching. And when I started thinking about it, you are responsible. Your life is the way that it is because of the things that you do, not just the things that happen to you. Once you realize that you are in control of your reality by your thoughts, your beliefs, your words, your actions, your intentions. Like, you get to create the life that you want once you take the front, like take the steering wheel of your own life. Once you start living with intention, once you have like an idea of what you want and you truly own it, you could create the life that you want, as long as you don't give up and you prove, like you reiterate, you learn on the go, you create your life. And yeah, that just sounded so like mind-blowingly like amazing. When I discovered what a life coach was, I knew I had to be that, because that was like everything to me. Like, I want, like, learning about that is such like a mind-blowing realization, to realize you get to create your life, so you create your reality with, like, by doing the things with intention. Like, before I thought about it like that, it just seems like life just happens. You just do things and like the rest just happens. It's like a mystery and stuff happens to you. And yeah, I think we're just not really taught. We just go through life living that way. A lot of people go through life living that way without ever realizing that you're in control as much as you are in control. And you could only control yourself, your thoughts, your beliefs, your energy, your words, your actions. That's all you can control, and your perceptions. So knowing that's all you have to control, that's still a lot. Everything else you can't control. Like, that just frees up so much space and like mental space. And yeah, I just felt so like everyone needs this. And that's originally why I want to become a life coach. And it has been tough since then because as much as I wanted to be a life coach for people, the struggle for me then became, how do I do this? I didn't know how to do the business stuff. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to push myself, to put myself out there. It just seemed really scary and like hard, like a lot of work. And I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone would lie about like having a business and it not being like a lot of fucking work and it being hard. Like, if it were easy, probably more people would do it. Like, everyone would do it, but it's not. So okay, yeah, I ended up wanting to do that, and it was hard. And then so I ended up getting a day job. I still wanted to do life coaching, so I found a way to like talk and like share my message and like kind of coach people on Twitch. And I was doing that for a little bit. And all throughout this time, I've always been a person that was just like very, very relationship oriented, like obsessed with relationships and me finding my perfect partner and the perfect relationship, and just like feeling like I made it. Like, I was always working towards that. And I was single for a couple of years, and after like choosing to break up, like, I've always been also the girl that like thought I could get whoever I wanted. Like, I just kind of thought that like everybody wanted to be with me, and I was always told that like everyone has a crush on me, and it was so easy for me to date. And so I was always the one who like broke up with my past partners. I was always the one to like, I don't know, it just didn't seem like I was finding the right people like every time, even though at the beginning it always seemed like this is the person. I know at the beginning it always felt like it's so good at the beginning, and over time I would feel like, oh, they're not the right person for me. oh, this is not working out. And so I would break up with them. And every new relationship, I would always think that all the lessons that I learned from the past boyfriend, past ex, I am like making sure that I'm not repeating in this new partner. Like, I thought I like was doing everything the right way. I thought I was being smarter and like better with things, and I didn't know that it was me. So I get to the point where I was single for like a couple of years, and I was doing all my like working on myself, and I got like spiritual, and I felt like very like awakened, and I thought I just loved myself so much. And when I finally met my previous ex, before my now husband, I was borderline narcissistic. Like, at the time, I didn't know that though. At the time, I just thought that I made it, and I knew exactly what I wanted, and I knew how to do relationships, and like the guy that I ended up getting with, like, it was the most toxic relationship because of all the conditions that went into it. So I essentially just, without like giving all the details, I didn't really want to get into a relationship with him until something happened. You could only imagine what that something happened. Essentially, we accidentally got pregnant. I got pregnant, didn't mean to get pregnant, and I didn't want to keep the baby. Like, I didn't even expect to like stay with him, but he stayed by my side and was very supportive, and showed me a lot of love and support during that time. And that was what made me want to be with him, because he seemed like such a good guy. I could tell that he loved me a lot, so that made me love him. Not him as a person, just him as this boyfriend figure that was very devoted to me, that showed me a lot of love, that knew how to be there for me. And that was not the best foundation. That should not be the reason why you get into a relationship with someone. The main reason why you get with someone should only be because you like them as a person. But I didn't really have that with him. I actually never truly accepted him. I actually had always saw myself superior to him. I actually felt like I needed to pull him up to be at my level of emotional maturity, my level of like career, and my level, even though I didn't really have a career, I just made like marginally a little bit more money than him, and like maturity. So I essentially made him feel bad about almost everything, and I didn't know. I thought I was always coming from a place of love. I just thought I was just saying something like a comment in passing, but it was always a point of contention for him, and it always like upset him, it always bothered him. He always had like this insecurity about these little things that I would be saying to him, and I'd never accepted that I was actually just being kind of fucked up to him, and just completely not respecting him and his autonomy, and the fact that he could do things his own way, and he doesn't have to do things my way, or I just don't have to like make those. So I was the one making all the problems in that relationship. And at the time I didn't know that it was just like constant, like he was getting upset at like almost everything that I was saying, and I just felt like I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be just like speak honestly with him. I felt like I was constantly being misunderstood, and my poor ex, like he was constantly being gaslit by me. He was constantly being told that the way that he was feeling just was like he didn't understand me. So if he like just I just forced him to understand my intentions, and that him being upset about every little thing that I said was just like wrong. And yeah, I didn't know at the time that I was being completely toxic, a little bit narcissistic, very gaslighty. And the reason why we kept on staying together, and the reason why I worked so hard at the relationship, was because I just thought we both loved each other. Like, the love was there, but we didn't know how to communicate. We didn't know how to resolve problems. We didn't know to understand ourselves and understand the other person, didn't know how to have compassion for the other person. So those are all the skills that we lacked. And just at the bottom of that, we were not the right people for each other, like through and through. So of course I ended up breaking up with him as well. I knew that I was like, that was the lowest I've ever felt. Like, I gave myself and so much of my energy and so much of my my heart to this person, and I didn't know how much I was hurting him and how much it was hurting me. But it was very clear that I was hurting myself. I was so stressed, and like my immune system was failing me. Like, for some reason I got this like really deep like welt scar in my forehead. Like, I had lesions on my face. They wouldn't heal for a really long time. Like, it almost looks like a pock mark. And it happened when I was in that relationship because I guess I was just really, really stressed. And I finally got out of the relationship. And I knew from that point on that I was never, I promised myself I would never make it like my responsibility to make another person happy. And I would never go back to like trying so hard in a relationship where like this person just can't understand me, and that thinking that the relationship needs to be salvaged because the relationship is the thing that's supposed to make me happy. And I was so fucking done with dealing with insecure people and hyper focusing on relationships and the other person, that I became hyper focused on my own happiness. And actually that's really the key. That's actually what I should have done to begin with. And yeah, that's really, once I finally realized I need to make myself happy, I need to be responsible for myself, I need to be responsible for my own joy and my own pleasure, and what like not another person, not a relationship could do that for me. It's on me. And then I got like so fucking good at being single. I was so fucking happy being by myself, finally taking care of myself and just doing the shit that I wanted to do, expressing myself freely, having the friendships that I wanted, like exploring the hobbies that I wanted, having the lifestyle that I wanted. And I was like a free bird. I was happy and like full of life and just like enjoying being single. Like, that was during quarantine, and I couldn't have been happier. I was just so into myself and my life, my solitude, because it felt so fucking suffocating when I was with my ex, that I was incredibly like liberated and free and just like in my joy being by myself. And incidentally, from that space, I was able to re-enter the dating world, and that's when I attracted and found and met my husband, my now husband. And I got into like, it actually happened pretty fast. The moment I decided like, oh, I think I'm ready to like date again, because even though I knew that I didn't need a relationship to make myself happy anymore, I still knew that like a husband and a family like down the line, that sounded like just something that I wanted. I knew that I like relationships a lot, so I just was ready for it at this point. And it only took like a handful of like right swipes and random dates for me to connect with Chris, my now husband. We talked a bunch and then we hit it off, and I got back into my relationship mode where I put like all of my time and energy into the relationship again. But I worked so hard at like taking all of the skills and knowledge from the past and all my mistakes, that like I did it in a healthy way. Like I knew that when I was diving in and expending like so much time and my own space and my energy, that like I knew I needed like some space. So I actually told him to like, don't talk to me for a week. I need to like exert this boundary just so I could like gather myself again. And it became like, it did become the most healthiest, like most like nourishing and fulfilling relationship I've ever had. And then we got married, and we were both really proud of our relationship skills that we have cultivated, making the relationship like as safe and as like nurturing and just like this loving place for us to both grow together. And in the time that we like dated and just a few months where we decided to like be in it for the long run, wanted to get married, Chris also hatched the plan to maybe quit our jobs and travel the world and explore like our own like passion projects, because why not? Like there's always work. Like we were just quarantined, and he just got to the point, he was a high school teacher, he just got to the point where like working like 100 hours a week, just you get burnt out from it. Like why not just like explore the world and explore our own passions? And yeah, he came up with this plan to like quit our jobs and travel, and that sounded amazing to me. Like I have only been to Japan as an adult, traveled to Japan as an adult, and yeah, for him to, he has always been a world traveler, very nomadic. He has actually lived in Vietnam for years already, and we're both Vietnamese American. I'm like Vietnamese Chinese American. And yeah, I decided, yeah, I agreed to it, even though it wasn't 100% what I actually really wanted. I really just wanted to quit my job and focus on my life coaching thing. But yeah, the travel also sounds cool. And this became another example of, because it was not 100% the thing that I originally desired, I originally came up with and decided, me agreeing to this crazy plan became another source of like, this is not 100% like making me happy. So you could only imagine how crazy traveling full time with your spouse could be. Like there's so many travel couples out there like on YouTube. But yeah, I'm telling you that it is not easy being with the same person 24 hours a day for months and months and months. Not only just 24 hours a day for months and months and months, like you're also just like on a tight schedule. You're going from airport to airport to like next city to next city. We travel to 16 different countries, like countless cities. And of course it was like this beautiful, amazing experience, but it introduced so many new elements into the relationship that neither of us experienced, neither of us expected. We went into it thinking that our relationship skills and our relationship has such a strong foundation. Like I had full trust that like whatever happens, we can handle it. Like I felt so like I had so much trust in myself and in Chris and in the relationship that like we could like, yeah, let's just do it. I wasn't afraid of it being of it blowing up or like us failing, like the whole marriage would like fall apart or anything, but it did challenge us. I will say that without that foundation, it would have 100% ruined us. Like, it was very, very stressful. It was very difficult to utilize the same skills as we did when we were just living at home, living a very simple, like, peaceful, no no other elements in the relationship besides me and Chris, but living in like literally a completely different environment, like every few weeks, or sometimes even like shorter than that, was very, just made things difficult. Difficult to remember how to be patient, difficult to remember how even like how to express ourselves and go back to like the skills that we had when we were just living a simple, predictable life. But we did get through it. I did have to do a lot of like self-exploration, self-understanding, a lot of work in figuring myself out. What did I actually need? Like, why was I so unhappy? What did I want? Like, and without like the option of just going back back to California, back to home, like what did I actually want? And I had to express that. I had to communicate all of that, and we got through it. And yeah, but and all this while, what I also learned is that like I couldn't like do the entrepreneurial life coaching thing while we were traveling so much. Like, I didn't have like the mental capacity for doing that while also like traveling and not being stressed out by all the travel and like moving around and like trying to just enjoy the travel. Like, and that also became like a source of like stress and strain and like shame and like a little bit of resentment. And I was just trying over and over and over to like let it go and just like be in the moment and just enjoy being in these places with my husband. And so we did a lot of travel and then we finally made it to Vietnam. Chris planned the whole itinerary. He bought all the tickets, the flights, and then we had like a block to stay in Vietnam for a couple of months to like just be stationed there to like stop moving around. And it was a good place, finally able to unwind and just like settle in. And yeah, it was at that point where Chris was needing to make more money for us because we only like saved so much, and he was getting these opportunities, like business opportunities came up and like new ideas sprung for him, and his network just like exploded. And so the opportunity that presented itself here to him to stay in Vietnam was too big to ignore. Plus the like the benefits of living here far outweighed the benefits of going back to California and just going back to normal suburban life and paying like very expensive bills in California, because living in Vietnam is significantly cheaper. So yeah, we decided to stay here. I made the decision that, yeah, it just sounds like it is the smart thing to do. I didn't want to hold my husband back from all of his business opportunities that were just starting here, and I just wanted to still like push myself and see if what I could do while I don't have to like worry so much about like bills and like doing like a day job again. I made the decision to stay. So essentially now we're still in Vietnam, and not much has changed for me. So that was a really long life story, and yeah, not much has changed for me. I keep on thinking that it's the environment that's going to change how I feel, and then when I feel more ready and confident and like I've learned enough things, I keep on thinking that is when I'm going to go all in and do the thing. And I don't even know, but it just always felt like I needed to feel ready. And I think everybody, this is such a common like experience that you think you have to feel ready to do something uncomfortable, but it's never going to be the case. To do something scary, you're not going to be comfortable doing something scary. And I'm learning this over and over, and I have to like learn this over and over and over, and I am constantly experiencing this like resistance in myself where I just let the feeling stop me from doing what I want to do. And it's been going on for years. Like that is literally like my life story since I got like fired from that job, and I just wasn't able to, still haven't been able to push and realize that like I don't need to feel ready for me to do what I want to do. I just need to decide to do it. And the more I do it, you just get better at doing it. Like that just takes off the edge once you start doing it more. So that's essentially why I'm deciding to just make a bunch of videos on this channel. I'm not gonna edit it, I'm just gonna spit it out there. And yeah, this one became so fucking long that I didn't even really get to tell you about my feelings. That is just my like life story. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep on going. I just am deciding. I want to decide that I'm just going to put out work and let that be enough. And I'm going to stop letting like perfectionism like get in the way. And I'm just going to enjoy just making one video at a time. And I'm just going to talk because I actually really like talking. Like I like talking about myself. Like that is something that I could do forever. Like it's already been like 42 minutes, just me just talking about myself. I could do this forever. So like, why aren't I just doing this more? And I mean, I've been so in my head for so long, and the process has always been like, I want to do this thing and I can't, and there's this like guilt cycle, this like shame cycle where like I've been wanting to do this for so long, and I keep on feeling bad, and I keep on disappearing from social media, and like I'll like show up for a little bit, and I'll have like bursts, and then I'll like disappear, and then I like make them some like self-reflection post, and like this has been my pattern for many years now. And this is life. I think this is just applies to like everything until we see ourselves. Like I knew I could also like make the comparison to like my dating life. Like I kept on making the same like wrong like mistakes, the wrong assumption that like the problem was always in my partner, and like I just needed to like break up with them and find the right person. Like I kept on getting with people and then thinking that they needed to be like perfect for me to have like the right relationship. But until I realized that like, no, it's not just the other person. I needed to do something different. I needed to change. The change needed to be from me, not from the other person, not from the external source. And yeah, it wasn't until I saw the pattern and I changed the pattern that my life got so much better. Like the results of my life finally were good, as opposed to the results were constantly the same. And what I'm seeing now, also now in me, in this pattern of like being so in my head and so like letting my feeling of discomfort dictate whether or not I move forward, whether I not like take action and do what I want to do and like pursue like having a business and just pursue being a life coach and like marketing myself as a life coach and just like moving forward and just like sharing my message and being more available and being more visible. Like I just kept on getting in my head and like stopping myself and like being uncomfortable about it, and then like thinking that like if I just talk about how I feel and like reflect on how I feel, and because I understand how I felt, thinking that that was gonna change anything for me. Like I've been doing that for so many years now. I feel like I'm deciding to do it different. I'm just deciding to put out my message just like this. I'm starting with this, and the next video I'm going to have to repeat the same process of just deciding this is what I'm going to do regardless of how I feel. And I could already anticipate it's going to be hard. I'm going to like run up against resistance until I know if I keep on doing it. I know that it's really the repetitions, is really just like getting used to it, getting in the practice, putting in the hours. Only then will I really like find my groove, find my flow, get used to it, become a new version of myself where I just don't need to think about it and like be worried or uncomfortable. So uncomfortable about it that is like a thing for me. And yeah, that's what I guess all I have. And yeah, sorry this was so long. Thank you if you did watch this. And yeah, until next time. Thanks.